All right, everybody. Welcome. We're glad to have you. We're about a minute from 6 o'clock, and I'm going to give some people some time to get in the room. But we've got from Squid Grow, we've got Shibtoshi, we have R and we have Dane, who is their upfront PR guy. So, welcome to you guys from the Shibnobi community. We look forward to hearing your proposal. And like I said, we just hit 6 o'clock, so we can give it a minute before we really deep dive. But if you want to go ahead and make your introductions, please do.
Okay. So how's it going, everybody? I'm Satoshi. I'm the owner of Squid Grow. I'm up here with my CFO R and my CMO Dane. Squid Grow is a project that launched on the BSC chain in June of this past year. We were a self-launch project. Our initial market cap was $25,000. Our all-time high was around 50 million, a little over. Um, we are a BSC tax token. We have 4% buy tax, 12% sell tax. All of that tax goes into our liquidity. None of it is being funneled out for marketing. I pay for all marketing, exchange listings, and utility development out of personal funds. Those of you that do not know, I'm a Shiba Inu whale. I'm a day one whale. I am the $8,000 investment dollar cost averaged into that position, and all-time high was $5.7 billion. I currently still hold my Shiba Inu bag today. I'm also a whale in Bitcoin, Crow Coin, and several other projects as well. I got into cryptocurrency back in 2011. First heard about Bitcoin in 2010. And on the poker tables in Vegas, I had some friends talking about a poker game that was played online, and Bitcoin was the currency to get into that. So I started diving into that. And when I realized that I could actually convert, fiat to Bitcoin and then Bitcoin back to fiat, I was all about it. So first dabbled into it with a $30,000 purchase, which I lost that night on the poker tables, and I was off to the races as far as it went to crypto. I've been invested in Bitcoin Cash, Zcoin, Litecoin, obviously Ethereum when it debuted. Um, Essentially, any crypto that you have heard of, I've jumped into, with the exception of Doge. I did not invest into Dogecoin. Um, as I said, I was an early investor in SHIB. It was showed to me by one of my buddies. There was originally seven of us. I thought it would be hilarious to hold a larger position than all of them together. I bought 5 hours after launch. It was the initial pump. I got wrecked on the way down, started dollar cost averaging in, and held for several months upside down before we got any kind of action and movement in the chart. And everybody kind of knows how the story played out with SHIB thereafter. Um, how I started my own crypto project and why. Obviously, you know, for me, I'm doing pretty well in life. But the reasoning for debuting Squid Grow and deciding to actually launch a project and take on these responsibilities, many of my friends in real life have invested in crypto, and 9 times out of 10, most of them get wrecked by investing in projects. They get invested into a project that is appealing, but ultimately the devs have malicious intentions and steal the money or just don't develop it, overpromise, and kind of at the encouragement of my best friend, the huntsman, he started talking to me about the different benefits of actually launching a project, giving our friends and my family a safe place to invest their money. And over a period of months, kind of went back and forth and decided in November of 21 I was going to have a contract coded at that particular time. The Netflix TV series Squid Games was really popular, and I was also heavily invested in a project called Evergrow. I decided to take two positives and roll it into one. That's how we came up with the name Squid Grow. Because I am not a dev and I do not pretend to be, I took some Solidity courses to try to get a better understanding of coding and couldn't figure it out. So that kind of led me to having another dev code the initial contract, and I struggled with actually trying to get it deployed. I never successfully got that contract deployed the first time around, and then I realized there was another project already out there. It was the Squid Game scam token. So I kind of shelved the idea. I didn't want to be second on the market with that name. So we shelved it and kind of went on life. It was several months later. I met my CFO in a whale room. It was actually like a sub whale room off of another whale room where we could kind of talk freely about the project without having the owners in there and kind of overseeing our opinions. And we got into a conversation about talking about the space, and all the scamming and so on and so forth. And we decided that we were going to launch a project together. I told him I had a couple contracts ready to go that had not been deployed, and we decided to form SquidGrow. We did, as I said, we did a stealth launch June 17th, um, at a $25,000 market cap. But because there was an oversight on my end, I deployed the contract with the Uniswap and the Pancake Swap router into the contract. So we started immediately getting reports that people could not sell. We had it looked into from the team, and it was indeed a fact because of the routers in the contract. People were not able to sell. So we made an announcement to the community that we had to relaunch. We paused trading the next day, June 18th. We moved liquidity to the new contract, did a mass airdrop of everybody that had currently purchased, which was, I believe, about 88 holders at that time, and seeded liquidity, and the rest is kind of history. We hit the ground running with a bunch of unique marketing style tactics that I thought were valuable to the project, and we did a lot of AMAs, we did a lot of billboards, um, we did PR articles, and just kind of started gaining traction that way. We've been in magazines, we're on semi trucks. There's 10 semi trucks running around the country with Squid Grow logos and QR codes on there. We are listed on, I believe, 12 or 13 exchanges. Um, Dane, does that sound about right? It's 12 or 13. It's one of the two.
Yeah, I think 13 now after Hotbit and
Okay. Okay.
the other one.
Okay. Yeah, so we're listed on 13 exchanges. Our first two exchange listings were Bitmark and BKEX. We pulled those off before we were listed on CoinMarketCap, and just continued to list from there. Our only tier one that we are on is Gate.io, but we are listed on Gate, Mexi, BitTrue, Biconomy, Ascendex, Bitmark, LBank, um, Hotbit, and XT just listed us randomly a couple weeks ago. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but you kind of get the understanding of where we're listed. So in regards to the project, we currently have native coin staking and LP staking. We are a variable APR on that. I believe native coin is around 20% and LP is around 200%. These pools are not fed by tax. I do buybacks on the chart. I send it to the staking contracts, and it's paid out per block. So it is not dependent on volume, which is kind of unique. As far as what we're working on, we have partnered with Mike S. Miller of DC Comics, Marvel, and Game of Thrones. He has done our 10,000 piece NFT collection. We also have a smaller collection of 1,000, which is just kind of for fun. This is going to be debuting our NFT marketplace that we are still developing, but we are getting very close. The $25 NFTs, that is the 1,000 collection, the first collection, there will be no utility with those. It's just going to be a PFP. Our Mike S. Miller collection does have utilities. But before I get into that, I'll kind of touch on kind of what we're doing with that. Out of the 10,000 NFTs that Mike has done, we have 1,000 ultra rare NFTs, and anybody that has seen my Twitter profile, our NFTs look like that. Our ultra rares are very similar to what I have on Twitter. They're pictured holding a Polaroid picture of another well-known blue chip NFT in that Polaroid picture. And if you mint one of these ultra rares, you gain ownership of both NFTs, our NFT and the NFT that's being pictured. I spent about $300,000 at the time to purchase 100 blue chip NFTs. We purchased Mutant Apes, Kennel Clubs, Doodles, Goblins, Metaverse Lands, Dark, the other side, excuse me. I'm sure there's numerous I peppered in there, but some of the bigger names are the ones that I just listed. And those are all held in the Treasury wallet. Anybody can see those. You can find them on OpenSea as well. And it will be a manual claim process. Essentially, if you mint one of the ultra rares, we verify that. Obviously, you contact us, we verify it, and we airdrop you the blue chip. At that point, you own both NFTs and you are free to do whatever you would like with the blue chip. There is not a way that we can kind of tie the NFTs together. So you can separate them if you'd like, completely up to you. As far as the utilities on the NFTs, our new staking contract that we have coming out, the NFTs will be able to be staked in our contract. It will boost your reward percentage for the staking rewards. And also we are developing SGX. SGX is our own decentralized perpetual exchange. And one of the features of this is you will be able to stake your NFT on that platform for reduced trading fees. Dane, am I skipping over anything that you might want to bring up? Oh yes, I'm sorry. The most important thing. So as I said, we are a BSC token. In the early days, there was kind of a internal debate whether we should launch on ETH or launch on BSC. Obviously, I'm an ETH whale, but I felt like BSC is a little more of like the everyday crypto investors that are kind of just getting into crypto and dabbling around. And I really felt that it was important before we'd go to ETH that we have some kind of, we have established ourselves as credible, and somewhat trustworthy. Obviously, we've not done anything to lose trust of any of our investors, but just kind of establishing some trust. So we decided to launch on BSC, and we started developing our Ethereum bridge, which our Ethereum bridge is done. It is currently in audit with Certec, along with our new staking contracts and our main contracts. This will be the second bridge audit. Our main contracts have 4 other audits, and this is our second staking contract audit as well. But gearing up for that after audit is concluded, we will be gearing up with our ILO, our initial liquidity offering for Ethereum. And then after the ILO is concluded, we will be offering our community the ability to trade in BSC tokens for Ethereum tokens. And we are offering bonuses on this. So if you contribute in the ILO, you will get a 5% dollar value bonus on your tokens. And if you contribute on the token trade-in, you will get a 3% bonus for that. So after the ILO and the trade-in has concluded, liquidity will be seeded, airdrops will go out. We are paying the gas on that side, and trading will go live. I'm expecting an initial pump on east side. So after that initial pump settles, the bridge will go live, and people will be able to bridge freely between BSC and Ethereum. Our bridge is set up to where we can bridge to multiple chains, but Ethereum obviously is the first step in that process. Dane, you want to jump in?
Sure. I'll say a couple things, man. You pretty much nailed a lot of the utilities. We can go back through some of those if people have questions. I just want to say, as you guys can tell, those listening, that you can hear the passion from Shib. This guy can talk for a long time about everything that we've been doing, and he's just scratching the tip of the iceberg as far as the plans that we have. As far as the CEO goes for a project, to me, he embodies everything you want to see. He's got the passion for it. He puts the crazy hours in. You can ask R-Dub, who's flown in from Australia to stay with him right now for a couple different reasons. The hours this guy is awake. It's there's no sleeping schedule. It's just whenever he needs to be awake, he's awake. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. So from a leadership perspective, you will not find a better candidate than Shibtoshi behind this project, and I've seen that firsthand. And I'll just quickly give a little introduction to myself for those that don't know me. I've been in the space since 2016. I come from a DeFi background. I actually got into DeFi before most people in 2018 and got into like the original DEXs on Web3 and was doing like the miners and stuff. And I always thought it was really cool because the only reason I got into crypto was because I have a cybersecurity background. And I found crypto would be a safe haven against the dollar when it eventually inflated more and more like we see it now. So yeah, DeFi appealed to me, and I got involved with a couple projects along the way, such as VRA. I got to work alongside RJ Mark as one of their marketing guys, and then B Pro with Rui Teixeira. And then eventually I started working on creating my own tokens. Created one of the most successful reward tokens back in 2021 called HODL token, took it up to 250 million. That was basically the first rewards token. From there, I ended up finding Floki's team right when they launched. I got to know Saber, B, Mr. B, all those guys very well, worked in the background with them for marketing. And then eventually started my own marketing firm, which we helped SquidGrow in the beginning to do some of those listings and a lot of different moves to help a project get off the ground. But my marketing firm's actually moved on, and I've stayed on personally to work with SquidGrow, and as long as this thing is going, which I envision will be a long, long time. So this is the only project that I work personally on and stake my reputation with alongside Satoshi and RW in the community, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. And there's a lot of crazy things we can touch on as we go forward with marketing and the heavy hitters that we have coming on board, the networking, the strategy with growing and expanding with projects so awesome like Shibnobi and Shinja, and as far as how we maintain momentum and the strategy in that sense. But, I first heard about Shibnobi and Shinja from a good friend of mine, Daniel Moncada, back when you guys first launched. So you guys have been on my radar for a long time, and I commend everybody here on holding, all the way up to $1 billion and down. I mean, you guys are the definition of diehard diamond hands, and I think that's pretty impressive that you guys were able to run up to $1 billion. So I know that the community listening here has seen some things and is in a very experienced community of OGs. So we appreciate the opportunity to come and pitch to you guys our project. And regardless of what happens, after we get into the grindy details here, we are happy to have met and touched base with so many of you here. And we wish nothing but success for all you guys as investors, regardless of what happens. But yeah, in regards to utilities, there's a lot. The SGX perpetual exchange will be our flagship. The connection with Mike Miller to host our NFTs is massive. I mean, who do you know that's made an NFT collection that has a guy from Marvel and DC Comics on board? There really is not many. So yeah, those are two of the cool things right now. But again, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I don't know if you want to touch on the whole growth process, Shib, as far as what we're trying to do with that. But I know that you kind of slipped a little alpha the other day with someone that you were talking to as well.
Yeah, I did. I just kind of wanted to circle back to SGX real quick. And if you're asking how SGX is going to benefit my community, 25% of the profits that's generated on SGX exchange will go towards Squid Grow. So I've promised 25% minimum going into the chart. So essentially how we're going to do it is that 25%, just as an example, let's say it's 200 BNB, make it easy. 200 BNB in profit, we're going to split that 100 and 100. 100 BNB chart buy will occur. The tokens that are accumulated from that buy will then be paired with the BNB, and it will be added to liquidity. So it pumps the chart, and it will also strengthen our liquidity market cap ratio as well. In regards to what we are doing, it's not really a secret. We are actively seeking to acquire other projects. Some of them are massive, some of them are not struggling, others have seen better times. One of the projects that we are talking to, and I won't give a name, but one project in particular has over 1 million addresses and over 20 million in liquidity. There's another project that has a total $8.5 million in liquidity for about 160,000 addresses as well. We are currently in talks with these projects, talking numbers and so on and so forth. Our first project that was acquired was Versa Finance. This was not something we actively were seeking out. It was kind of brought to us, very similar to Sinja. we just had talked about it kind of openly, and the team kind of contacted us, and we were able to um, work out a scenario that was beneficial to their community. And essentially, that project initiated a liquidity buy on our chart. We finalized the numbers for the airdrop after both sides have finalized and initiated a mass airdrop to that community. And the rest is kind of history. It was pretty flawless. I think the turnaround was about a day. The longest portion of that was just running our snapshot shots, running the analytics, and then running the numbers for essentially the Versa token trade into SquidGrow. They had fairly good liquidity in their project, so their community made out pretty good. Just as an example, one of their wallets had about $2,800 in Versa token, and they were airdropped about $2,300 in Squid token. So there was a small percentage loss in that scenario, but it was the best that we can do. I have to keep my community in mind, and I can't give projects special treatment over my own. So we were just working off of what their liquidity was.
And real quick, let me jump in to add something here. Before he goes full on into the proposal. Um, Everybody needs to understand. I'm trying to get whatever information I can for them to be able to make, the proposal the way that it needs to. We are still missing some information, which I'm working on getting to him, and that could, again, skew these numbers in a different way. So I want the community to keep that in mind, and any updates that would come from that, Shibtoshi will share with me, and I will immediately share with the community. The biggest thing is, you guys know, out of me, you're going to get full transparency. You're going to get the same out of Shibtoshi. I'm confident in that. So, with that said, you guys can continue. Everybody that's got their hand raised, just so you know, we're not taking any question until they finish their entire proposals. We don't want those kind of interruptions. And then there'll be plenty of time for people to ask questions. Mods, we're going to do it the same way we did it before. The community's going to ask their questions. If you've got questions you want to ask, DM me and I will slip you in. But, the community was really receptive to the fact that, it wasn't mods getting the preference to ask questions like we've seen in previous stuff. So we're going to keep that same format. So thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right, guys. So I'm just gonna kind of jump right into it. There's no need to sugarcoat it, but with doing so, as what was just mentioned, we are missing some information as far as wallets that might be or that are controlled by Cliff. So going off of the information on hand, excluding obviously the treasury and the deployer wallets, this is how we've come to these numbers. And so I'll just kind of jump into it. So what we're proposing at SquidGrow is we are proposing that we absorb Shinobi community. And what I mean by that is the Shinobi community will become part of SquidGrow. So what I am prepared to do with that is obviously keep the Shinobi Telegram intact. Everybody, this group that y'all have established will remain. I propose that on our Discord we make a sub thread, sub folder for you guys in dedication of Shinobi, so y'all have some space that y'all can kind of talk amongst yourselves. This will be within our Discord. And also on the website, we will put Shinobi's website or website logo and name on our website on a drop down that just kind of gives some dedication to Shinobi. So if you're asking kind of how this would work, what we are proposing is that the Shibnobi liquidity that is currently accessible, and there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. So I will touch on this. So the first way is currently we're on BSC token. So what we could do is take the Shibnobi liquidity and start doing buys on the BSC side of my project. And after the liquidity has gone into the chart and the tokens have been accumulated, we will disperse those tokens to the community members. We are going off of liquidity to market cap ratio. I am sorry to say it will not be a $1 for $1 value. Going off of your liquidity. Let me pull some numbers up real quick for this scenario. Okay, so if we were to just initiate buys with the Shibnobi liquidity onto the chart and distribute that to all the holders, taking out of account the unknowns that we do not know what wallets Cliff currently controls, this is just what we have on hand. Obviously, this is subject to change for the better. So you would retain 30.26% of your dollar value right now. And this was calculated this morning at current Shibnobi price and current SquidGrow price. Now, with that said, we are coming up to the Ethereum launch. So, and as I previously spoke on, we are offering the community the ability to trade in BSC tokens for Ethereum tokens. If you were to go that route and initiate the buy on the chart, everybody has the ability to trade in their BSC tokens for Ethereum tokens. That would gain them an additional 3% on their dollar value. The other option that we propose is we are doing an ILO for Ethereum, and we could take the liquidity from Shibnobi, roll that into our ILO, which will go to the liquidity on the Ethereum. That would qualify for a 5% bonus. And that number looks like this. With the 5% bonus factored in, you would retain 31.78% of your dollar value. At current market cap, if you decided to go BSC and trade your token in, for the 3% bonus, you would get 31.17%. You would retain 31.17% dollar value on your current bag holding. What you have to look forward to with SquidGrow is a very dedicated team, very passionate. I personally fund everything out of pocket. We are not dependent on the project or volume whatsoever. I have my goals and my own ambitions for this project, and I plan on seeing it completely through. We, spend long hours, and when we make decisions for the project, we take into consideration the community. I have often said that I'm running the project through the eyes of a community member. Anything that I do not personally like in crypto, you will not find in my project. I don't like vesting periods. I don't like locking periods. I don't like reward tokens, so we're not a reward token. We're just, very dedicated and, trying to do what's right by the community. We run the project through the eyes of the community and what we would personally want to see in a project. So those are kind of our different options that we have. I know that if you were to vote to come to SquidGrow, you would be diluted on your dollar value. I can't give you one for one. If there was a way that I could and keep it fair, I would, but I have to be fair to my community. So that is kind of where we're at currently with the proposal. Obviously, these numbers are subject to change depending on what percentage of the supply Cliff controls, but those are unknown to us currently. So going off of the factors that we have, these are the numbers that we're looking at currently. So just to kind of circle back real quick, if y'all were wanting to go to the BSC route and initiate the buy on the chart for the airdrop, that would probably be a 1 to 2 day turnaround max. Obviously, after the purchase is done on the chart and the tokens are accumulated, we will run analytics on that. And after both sides agrees on the numbers, the mass airdrop would occur. If y'all wanted to wait for the initial liquidity offering, it would have to be based around the time that we are doing ILO. So currently we are in Surtech audit, and I do not plan to move forward with the Ethereum until the audit is done. So it could be realistically 2 to 3 weeks of waiting time. With that said, I want to be clear, if you decided to vote for SquidGrow, I would cease trading on Shibnobi. There would be no more buys or sells. This preserves everybody's bag value and the liquidity. The Shibnobi contract does have the ability, function 7, to disable trading. So the plan would be to completely remove liquidity from Shibnobi. And this would preserve everybody's bag values. Obviously, there would be an announced date and time that this would occur. I would not just immediately do it. We would put out an announcement to the community so that everybody is completely informed that if you want to sell your Shibnobi position before this date and time, you are welcome to do so. And when that date and time comes, I would disable trading and your liquidity would stay put. Now, another thing I want to kind of touch on, the Shibnobi liquidity is locked until September. So how I would propose moving the liquidity, if you did decide to go to SquidGrow and I gain ownership of the contracts and the deployer, trading would be ceased, as I said. And if you decided to go the ILO route, right before we kick that off, I would take the treasury and the deployer wallets and I would essentially sell them on the chart. This would drain a good chunk of the liquidity in the Shibnobi project. And the remaining liquidity, once that frees up in September, I would remove that and roll that in to the project as well. The concern we have is you can transfer ownership to the contract, but you cannot transfer ownership of the wallet that added liquidity. So the problem with that is, there's a good possibility that when the liquidity unlocks, it could be taken by somebody else that has access to that liquidity. So we would just have to try to coordinate and hope for transparency and honesty on the Shibnobi side that doesn't occur. But we would try to drain as much liquidity as we could. We might even depend on some community members to trade in Shibnobi tokens to further drain the liquidity. But I just felt that it's important to let everybody know that we would turn off trading for Shibnobi. There would be no more buying or selling on this current contract. Dane, you want to chime in? Got anything to add?
Sure. Yeah. So I know a lot of people are going to focus on one specific thing that you said, and that was the 30% of the bag value. And basically, the reason, if you're confused about why that happens, is let's say you've got a fat bag of Shibnobi right now, and you decide to sell it. Well, you're gonna take that price down of Shibnobi pretty significantly, depending on how big your bag is. So if everybody was to sell it once, which is essentially what's happening when you switch liquidity over versus the ratio of SquidGrow's liquidity, the bag value will be diminished somewhat. Now, I get that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people when they hear that, because you're hearing that your bag gets basically cut into a third initially. But understand this, once we come over to SquidGrow, we're looking at adding you guys to the community in full capacity. We want you guys to be part of the ride. We know you guys have been to $1 billion before, so you've seen that, and you know what projects like this are capable of, and we think that will be, eventually where we strive to get towards, and then some. It's all about, at the end of the day in crypto, it's not so much about a name; it's about making X's, in my opinion. And so X's are X's, and if I believe that SquidGrow has a lot as far as to give and to grow. So it's kind of a hurdle as the process would happen as far as the switch goes. But going forward, becoming part of something like SquidGrow that has these plans that we've touched on, I think it's a pretty clear vision as far as where we're aiming to go, and we'd love to have you guys to be a part of that. It is a kind of a strange process as it happens, but all these details will get laid out in writing so you guys can understand them a bit better after this AMA is done as well. As Shibtoshi mentioned, we're waiting on a couple more numbers from Cliff, and so these things will be a little bit more crystal as far as you guys get wrapping your head around them and how those things would go. My personal thoughts is that that becoming into the ILO, Shib, if you want to touch on that scenario, that because this is an ETH token, and I know a lot of people here are really big ETH fans. So just kind of diving into like how that process goes as far as them coming into the ILO on ETH, is maybe just touch on that a bit more.
Okay, so obviously we've already taken a screenshot of the holder list. We've ran our analytics, so we have everybody's addresses. If you decided to come to SquidGrow, we would take another screenshot of the holder list, and as I said, cease trading. So essentially, gearing up for the ILO, how we would do that is I would just view the liquidity as a contribution to the liquidity, and therefore that overall bag goes up 5%. That bag would be held in a separate wallet from everybody else's contribution to the ILO. So we have a basis of token amount that will be distributed through the holders. And based on that, the mathematical equation that we will do on that ILO, the liquidity to market cap ratio is Shibnobi to SquidGrow, we would distribute that. Now, with that said, obviously our market cap is subject to change in between now and the ILO. We could go up, we could go down. So it doesn't change the ratio of the mathematics of it, but there is subject to change for the dollar value. Obviously, if our market cap starts going up, you will receive a larger amount of tokens of SquidGrow to kind of make it sting a little less. But in full transparency, if our market cap starts to go down, the ratio percentage stays the same, but the dollar value, excuse me, not the dollar value, the token count would then go down. The dollar value will remain the same based on that ratio of 30%, but the token count is subject to change. As I said, if we go up, you get less tokens. If we go down, you will get more tokens. If we stay the same, dollar value does not change, percentage does not change, but the token count is subject to change. Obviously, there's variables in this space, and I'm not ceasing trading on my project leading up to the ILO. So, things can change, but the numbers and the dollar value will not change. Just as an example, if you were to get $10,000 of SquidGrow token right now, and let's say that's, 500 million tokens. If the market cap goes up and doubles, you would still get $10,000 in Squid tokens, but that token count would then be cut in half to 250 billion tokens. And also vice versa. If we go down, your token count would go up, but your dollar value remains the same. Shibnobi does not have a one-to-one liquidity ratio, so we cannot give dollar value to the Shibnobi community. The liquidity isn't there to do so. In the same breath, if everybody from Shibnobi attempted to exit Shibnobi, nobody's going to get their dollar value that's reflected in their wallet. There's just not enough liquidity to do so. The second somebody starts to sell, everything changes. So that's something to take into consideration as well. I didn't come here to try to beat you guys up. I'm just looking at it from a mathematics standpoint, and that mathematics is the liquidity to market cap ratio. So I'm not trying to strip anybody of their name, their Shibnobi brand, the Shibnobi logos. Earlier today, I dropped PFP in the chat to just kind of, give everybody an example of what we could do for the Shibnobi community, kind of merging the two communities together. It was a spinning coin with Shibnobi OG on the back and y'all's logo, and then SquidGrow on the front. In our community, we have a lot of spinning PFP coins running around. We have community members that make them for us, and I'd be happy to provide those to the Shibnobi community. As I said, we would be keeping the Shibnobi Telegram intact. I would not, assuming I got ownership of the Telegram from Cliff, I would keep it intact. But I would encourage, if y'all decided to go SquidGrow, that y'all do join the SquidGrow chat as well, because that's where we make our announcements. That's where we have our VCs. We would do give y'all a Discord tab, and also put your logo and our name on our website on a drop down to just kind of give contribution to the project. At this time, I'm going to bring my CFO up, RW, to have a couple words.
Thanks, Shib. Yeah, look, guys, I think Shib has covered the proposal really well, and Dane's touched on a few points as well. I just, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I really just wanted to say a couple of words in that I know that because Shib and I dropped in here and had a little quick VC the other day, I know that there are, a large percentage of the Shibnobi holders that really want to hang on to not just the Shibnobi name, but the project as a whole, because obviously it's something that you guys have, poured your heart and your time into, and that's understandable, and I can relate to that as well. But I think this is the best offer that we can put forward to you guys. So I think that at the end of the day, you guys need to take your time and really think about what is not just best for you individually, but also best for you as kind of a group of remaining loyal holders of this project that you love as well. And although we can't offer for you guys to keep your name, and we can't offer that we would lead two separate projects, being SquidGrow and Shibnobi, we can offer that you guys can come over and we would welcome you to our community, and with that you would be getting leaders that basically run a project giving 110% 24 hours a day. And I think that putting some time and thought into that decision, you guys are going to come to the best outcome there. But I think really at the end of the day, I know what goes into running a project. We've been doing this for coming up to a year soon. And if Shib and I were to try and run two separate projects, I just know that it's not possible to actually give 110% to two separate projects. Somewhere along the line there, there's going to be some fallout. So I think that really, this is kind of the best possible scenario that we can offer you guys. That's really all I wanted to touch on at this time. I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions. So if Shib or Dane or anyone else wanted to say anything before we take some community questions, I think now's the time.
Yeah, I'll jump in, RW. You made that point really well about the two projects simultaneously. I've actually seen this done before, as far as two projects. I've seen a token start another token and try to run both of them so where they feed into each other. Been a part of those types of financial experiments in 2021 and peak bull market. And even back then, it didn't work so well because, quite simply what would happen is the two projects would just split the height, split the market cap. People will get confused as far as which one they should buy. And then eventually the volume would sort of slow down on both, and then both of them would sink. And that's kind of like one of the big fears I have for managing multiple projects is that if you have two different charts, it confuses new investors as far as where they're supposed to go. That may not always be true. There are cases where it can work, but in my experience, it's better to make one super project and combine communities and make them become something really, really epic. And that would be our goal, of course, is to do that. I've also been a part of projects that soar and then come back down. And I personally know how difficult it is to bring a chart up once it has come tumbling down. Not only do you have to overcome a bunch of people who bought the top and they're looking for exits as you try to come back up, but if you don't have a lot of I'm talking a lot, like think about like what Floki did recently with all the exchanges, KuCoin, futures, things like that they listed. Even then, they still haven't climbed back to their all-time high, not even close. So if you don't have those types of funds, it's very difficult to climb out of a hole once you've come back down. And so, yes, the 30% thing is sort of a hit in the beginning, but I think SquidGrow will offer you guys a chance to get out of that hole and back up into those levels that you're used to and deserve. And one of the things that I really respect about you guys, as I said, is I see that a lot of you guys here in this community are OGs of this space, and it's a really beautiful community. And regardless of what happens, we wish you the best. But I would personally hate to see Shibnobi and Shinja just kind of die a slow death. It doesn't deserve that. And I think what we want to offer is a chance for you guys to come over and join us and come back up to those levels that you deserve. And I'm pretty confident that we can get there. Obviously, we can't predict the future, but when you look at SquidGrow as a whole and you really absorb what it's all about and the passion of Shibtoshi and who he is as a top 50 Bitcoin whale, the massive monster that he is in the space and the pull that he has and continues to have, you're looking at a project that has the ingredients to soar and do what Shibnobi did and do what Floki did and then some, especially as we move over to ETH after operating on such a brutal bearish blockchain through literally only the bear market, which we launched in summer of 2022, basically. So, I just want to commend you guys on having a strong community. Regardless of what happens, I hope it goes well. But if you do come over to SquidGrow, we will fully welcome you, and you will become part of our community while still having the Telegram here, as well as a Discord spot, as well as full recognition on our website, and some other things like Shibtoshi mentioned with the cool profile pictures and stuff you guys can flex. We would make sure that going forward as the SquidGrow team together, that Shinja and the lore of Shinja would be included as part of ours. And that's important. But with that said, I do strongly feel that the best path forward for both projects, should they join, is to have one chart. And so this is kind of why that has to happen. And again, the 30% thing is a result of, if everybody sold right now, someone's selling the top and someone's selling the bottom. So when you take out liquidity, you kind of factor that in and a little bit of dilution. And that's why that is the way that is.
Real quick, Dana and community, I also overlooked the fact that I believe we can do subfolders in our main Telegram as well. So assuming that is the case, we could make a Shibnobi subfolder off of SquidGrow Telegram as well. For everybody that's in this community, they can kind of, join there as well. And, they're still attached to the SquidGrow community, but they have their own little place, their own little safe haven.
Exactly.
Okay. So if we've got questions from the community, go ahead and raise your hand, mods. If you've got any questions, as I said, DM them to me. We'll do them one at a time. I do want to stress something to the community, and I know, everybody heard the 30% number and they went into shock. Again, that's because we have not received all of the figures, from the Cliff had mentioned during the other AMA, or prior to it, that the tokens that he was holding, he was going to give back to the community, put back into the community, as far as the project. So, until these guys have a solid number on what that token number is, they cannot factor it in, and they're not going to just guesstimate. So they left it out completely. Once those numbers are received, they'll be edited and, of course, passed along to me, and I'll make sure that it is shared with the community. So, again, just keep that in mind with what you heard tonight, because right now it's sort of fluid. And with that, we're going to go with Cryptic Wishes, then Minister of Fun, and then Jules. So I'm going to unmute all three of you. Please do not talk over the top of each other. Once one person's finished, the next one can go. And one question at a time. We're not doing, 5 questions in a row. We want to give everybody ample opportunity. If time allows, we'll bring you back up for additional questions. So go ahead.
Hey
With
guys.
this.
Hey Drew. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the overview, guys. It's pretty informative. But the question I had, I know like the focus is mostly on the token from your side. Do you have any plans for all the other stuff that we have, like in terms of NFTs or the verse? Do you see any usage in your ecosystem, or do you have any plans for that? Thank you.
Great question. So it's my understanding that Cliff has several NFTs as well that he has purchased. I would be more than happy to distribute those NFTs to the community of Shibnobi. In regards to your utilities, I have my own devs and I'm developing my own utilities, and I trust those utilities because they were made essentially as an extension of my hand. If this was to go through and the utilities were passed on to us, the code base, I would not guarantee that we would utilize any of the utilities that Shibnobi has. What I would guarantee is that I would have my devs look through the code base of these different utilities just to vet them to make sure that they are safe. Obviously somebody else has owned them, somebody else has made them. There could be some funny things on the back end that no one is aware of, and I can't put my stamp of approval on it unless it's thoroughly gone through. In the event that some of your utilities do pass the checking of my devs and we decide we want to utilize it, I would put it through an audit to make sure that it is safe and secure, and then we could implement it at that time. But with that said, even if the utilities are safe and secure, I cannot guarantee that we would utilize those. But if they were at our disposal and handed over to us, I would take the time and effort to make sure that they are safe and secure. So if we decide to use them maybe down the road, they could be implemented. Regardless, they would be redeployed on our servers, and we would own full control of that. I would not keep it as is and just kind of pass the keys off to us. We would have to be in complete ownership of them, no questions asked.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Minister of
Hey.
Fun.
Good evening, everybody. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Been here since I think it was December 2021, a month after it started. I've not sold any of my Shinja. Don't intend to, because I'm collecting. I'm acquiring assets. The lower the markets go, the more assets we collect. That's the way the wealthy get wealthy. We've learned that. So, and I did not overextend myself with any of the projects that we have. So therefore, I'm not upset. I am actually excited because in this downtime and the struggle right now, we get to meet you guys. You guys get to meet us. The last group that talked to us got to meet us. I haven't reached out to them yet, but I'll follow that up because I was not on the AMAs. I watched them recorded. Good information. But my only thing is we have a way to literally, I'm about problem solving. So how do I get with the 3 people? I saw y'all in here. I can DM you guys and show y'all something we've been using now for almost 2 years that is no losses. In this market where everything's going down, no one that's using this is taking a loss. That is huge. Just like you all just said, you're not depending on the charts and all that for the project to work. Y'all have found the ways to do that outside of the project. So that's what we have. We're not losing. We're not worried about if crypto goes up or down. We're literally just
Let me jump in real quick, but this is not the place to pitch another project right now. So I'm gonna have to ask you.
It's not necessarily the project. It's the tools that they're using that is creating cash flow where if everyone's making income.
Right. But again, it's not the place for this. This is something that can be taken offline, please. Out of respect.
So
thank you.
I'll just reach out to them. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, go ahead, Jewel, and then Alexander, you're going to be after Jewel.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Very good, very good. Thank you for hosting this call. Just a quick question. I know there's some other folks out there from the Shibnobi community that were staking Shibnobi coins on the site. The servers got shut down, and essentially our coins are still there. Has there been any talks of opening the server so we can unstake our coins and get them back in our possession?
Yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
yes, Satoshi, I can touch on that. So, but we did some digging, and there is a way for you guys to be able to stake, unstake directly from the contract. And well, not stake and unstake. We would want you just to unstake. We are in the process of creating a guide for that to happen. But then again, and I'll let Satoshi talk from this end. I made it clear to them that we have people that have yet to migrate to their V2, and that we also have people that are currently have their funds in staking, and that we would want to try and find a solution to allow those people to get out of that and get their tokens into their wallets.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah, actually, that just made me realize that we didn't even factor out the staking contract address because it was not given to us. So that's another address that needs to be excluded from our mathematical equation. But back to what you were saying with the staking contracts, you can interact with the BSC and Ethereum contract directly by connecting your wallet to it and doing the withdrawal through that. We had kind of a similar scenario in our project when we migrated staking contracts. We kept the original staking contract up on the website for some time and then disabled it, and we put out a guide of how users can connect to the contract directly and withdraw their tokens into their wallet. So there definitely is a way to interact with it directly. You do not need the servers in the front end to do that.
Yeah, and I do want to piggyback on that to let everybody know. So right there, if you take the staking pool, the money that is sitting in the staking pool right now, that's liquidity that was not accounted for when they did their math. Okay, and that's why I said this is a very liquid, fluid situation. And once they have all these numbers, that 30% figure is sure to change. So I don't want everybody to get stuck on that right now until we've got the updated information and you've got a much better idea of what we would be looking at. And that said, Alexander, you can go ahead, and then Yogi, I'm going to unmute you, and you can go after Alexander.
Hey, Stone. So we are in the same bid. We are all lobbying to accomplish the same goal. I think we all want the same thing when it comes to Shinja and trying to see a productive outcome for all of it. But one of the things that we both ran into the same issue when it comes to the mathematics, right? How do you convert the tokens to, when it comes to a merger, in a sense, how do you convert the tokens and make it sort of make sense, right? But the thing that I would have loved to hear, and by the way, I'm completely coming from a neutral position where I want the best outcome for it. So I'm not here trying to lobby for one direction or another. We've got plenty of stuff going on at Shiba Doge. Like we don't need to do this, right? And what I would really love to hear from you as lobby for the best possible outcome, and that is, where does the vision lie? I think what Shibnobi is going to need, because it's ultimately a turnaround exercise, is what is going to be the future vision for the project. It sounded like, from what I've heard from you, is that there's going to be a consolidation effort, and that consolidation is going to be putting the community into SquidGrow, which is great and fine. But is there sort of an outcome outside of just merging the tokens from a mathematical standpoint? Is there sort of like a vision, a direction of what can become out of the community and all the efforts that have already been put together? And mind you, I'm saying that with a backing. You and I are both very fortunate in life, and I will put this out there in public. If for whatever reason there is a good positive future for Shibnobi and you end up taking it over, if that's the case, I I have a substantial ETH backing that I will commit to that vision if it's good. And that's coming from all the devs. We all stand by that.
So just so I'm understanding, are you from the Shiba Doge team?
Yes, I'm one of the founding tier developers. Yes.
Yeah, I think I spoke to you on the Mario No Fall show.
I don't think you spoke to me. You might have spoke to one of my other developers. But I'm also a holder of Shinja, so I'm speaking also as both of that.
Okay, fair enough. So the proposal that we have put forth, absorbing the Shinobi community into SquidGrow, they will become a SquidGrow community member, and they will gain our 110% effort into continuing to grow the community and the project. And at the end of the day, I mean, that is all we can do. Our visions that we have for our community, obviously, Shinobi community would then become part of the SquidGrow, and they will be along the ride with everybody. So our overall goals and ambitions, at SquidGrow, we don't have a typical roadmap. We under promise, over deliver. We don't start talking about things that we're developing until they're ready to drop or have been finished and completed. I fully finance everything, and I'm not sure of the Shiba Doge project. I'll only know what was pitched to me on the Mario show. And that's not to say that y'all don't have backing of your own. I fully back and support my project 100%. I pay for everything out of pocket. We've spent a lot of money, and we've also cut back on spending as well. We spend where we see it's fit. So I mean, I don't really know of another project owner that funds out of his own pocket 100% and takes nothing from the project. So, if the Shinobi community wants to come along for the ride with us, we are happy to welcome them as one of our own. And even if this doesn't happen, they are still welcome to, remain in our community, and my DMs will still be open. I'll still remain in this chat. There's no hard feelings at the end of the day. The project Shinobi needs to, talk amongst each other and decide what's in the best interest of the community, because the community is where the value is. It's not the name, it's not the liquidity, it's the community. But with that said,
I fundamentally agree with you. I was just saying, like, as a colleague, I'm not even talking from a standpoint of, hey, we're both in the bid. Like, look, if this goes to SquidGrow, there's not going to be any remorse or regrets. Trust me. I'm not, that's not my ambition, right? That's not what I'm looking to achieve with Web3. But I'm just sort of more curious, both as a holder, but also as sort of a colleague, challenging you in the sense of, we have this opportunity to combine communities in this new space, and they're such meaningful communities that are looking at the prospect of Web3, the prospect of NFTs, tokens as a whole, ERC, et cetera, right? BSC, et cetera. And we have this opportunity to do something really special with it. So I'm thinking, maybe we can all get involved and do something really special. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, just kind of riffing. Maybe I'm out of place here talking in the public forum, but I just thought it would be wise to do so. Again,
yeah, as far as the
malicious intent, by the way, please, like, do not construe anything I'm saying as like, hey, I'm jumping in. We're colleagues at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand completely. As far as Squid Grow goes, as a project, we are not currently interested in other project partnerships. We've turned many big projects down from partnerships. I can do it on our own. Um, so we're not looking to piggyback off of somebody else's hype, any way, shape, or form. I'll do this on my own without partnerships. Um, but I do understand, what you were touching on, and that's a great idea. It's just not a good fit for Squid Grow in this particular situation. We aren't proposing a partnership with Shinobi or Baby Doge, excuse me, Shiba Doge. um, we are looking to give the community a safe place to invest their money and make them one of our own, and they can come on the journey with us if they choose to do so. I can't split my time up between two projects and give it 150% all the time, but I can do that with my project, with one single project. So that's kind of the basis of the proposal we have set forth here today. We put this proposal together carefully in consideration of the Shinobi community and also my own community, because at the end of the day, I own it. I owe it to my community to make, smart choices for the direction of the project. If the Shinobi community wants to come over and join us, amazing. If they don't, no hard feelings. It's not going to change anything for us on our end. We're just going to continue to go around and acquiring projects as we can, and continue to develop our utilities and continue to fund the project out of pocket. I mean, I first thing, when Shinobi was brought to me, it was actually by one of my community members when we were absorbing another project. I started looking into Shinobi, and I obviously saw the overall numbers in the Telegram, but more importantly, I saw the activity of the members in the Telegram, and the value is the community. And, I see value in that. And, it's unfortunate that I'm not in a position to where I can split my time up and co-develop Shinobi and keep it alive, so to speak. Because I think everything that has gone on for Shinobi, the run up that they had and the utilities they developed. I mean, it's quite amazing. It's very unfortunate that the situation is what it is. As far as we're concerned, this is the best that we can do for the Shinobi community, and it makes the most sense to us. And if it's not a good fit for the Shinobi community, no hard feelings at all. We were given the opportunity to come in here and pitch. We threw some numbers together. Obviously, they're subject to change depending on, a few factors such as the staking addresses and any addresses that Cliff might control. Obviously, the percentages will go up after we exclude those. But with the numbers on hand, that's kind of where we're at. This is the proposal we're prepared to make. And yeah, this is where we stand.
Okay, Yogi, you're going to be next, and then Mabata, Bishop, and then X-Rins, you'll go third. And thank you for the questions. Yogi, you there? Going once. Hit the blue button to unmute yourself. Going twice. Okay, Mabata, go ahead with your question, please. Yogi, if you want to come back up, you can raise your hand.
As speaking from a holder from the Shinobi community and from the Squid Grow community, I must say that I've been with Shinobi since last year of November, and I did watch the progress. I watched when we converted, we went over to the DAOs. My thing is this, and when we joined another community, we took over another community, and that dump that happened to us on the Shinobi side, I heard of the trouble we had. We winged it out. And the thing about this is this about the Shinobi community. The value is y'all. And honestly, to tell you the truth, y'all do put in a lot of work, and y'all work should be paying off to you. And I believe that if you come over to the Squid Grow community, that will be an asset. Y'all guys will be an asset. I mean, a valuable asset. Even with all the utility that y'all did create, hey, this guy, Satoshi, he said he's coming for the king. I watch this man. And I'm very particular about how he does things, how he moves. I watch it. Everything this man says, he has fulfilled it. I mean, I don't have any questions. My only question is, do you want to be riding this moon, this rocket to the moon? This man is making sure he made sure his promises are kept. He all the work he said that he does, he puts in, he does. His audits has audits. I ain't never heard that since I've been in the crypto space. Yeah, audits have audits. This man has funded it out of his own pocket. Um, I mean, you talking about shilling these people. I've been with this community since I was in the 5 milli range, and shilling works. It works. Everything they say, step by step, it happens. It works. They don't give you dates. I do say this. They don't give you dates to get your heart racing, but it's the excitement for when it do come. That's all I have to say.
Hey, I appreciate you for coming in here and the feedback and the positive things that you've said about me personally and my project. It's very humbling. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so I just have a couple of questions actually. I'm not here for the past. I'll say that, and I'm here all about progress. You as a leader, how many times have you failed? Honestly, that's my first question. How many times have you failed? That's what I need to know.
I'm sorry, I was muted. So something immediately comes to mind about that. The very early days of the project, some community members wanted to see a lottery implemented in our project. And obviously I had my own devs to build things. The time frame to build a lottery from scratch was going to take several weeks. So we made the decision to outsource this lottery contract from a reputable developing company. And we did so. We obtained the contract after we purchased for it. We implemented it. We trusted in the fact that this contract was audited by Certec, and we put it out to the community. The lottery contract worked fine. It was amazing. The community loved it. There was a day in particular. I was actually at Disneyland with my family and my friend and his family. And I went in to finalize the current lottery contract drawing. And I went into the lottery and realized that the $125,000 that we had in the lottery contract for giveaways was gone. It was missing. I contacted my devs immediately, and we realized that the lottery contract had been breached. I ran out of Disneyland to the hotel, got to my computer to try to start sorting it out. I contacted my mods immediately and asked them to put a message in the community about what had just occurred and anybody that was affected by this lottery breach to join this room. Fortunately, there was only 13 people that were affected by this lottery breach. We got them into the room. We got everybody to revoke access to the lottery contract. And after we finalized numbers and went over what the community members had lost, I initiated a biome chart and reimbursed it everybody one for one. That is one of the biggest failures that I have had in this project so far. It was an oversight on my end. I should have had the lottery contract audited again. I shouldn't have trusted the initial audit. Obviously, in between the Certec audit and us taking possession of it, there was a backdoor coded into it. And as a result, it was 12 or 13 of my community members were affected by it. That is some of the failure that we have dealt with. in our project, and it's solely my fault. I took blame for it publicly. I made everybody whole, and we moved on. We do have another lottery contract ready to go, but I have such PTSD over that. We have not implemented that new contract. And after that, I swore that we would develop everything in-house from scratch. And our audits now have audits. Every time we develop something, it goes to audit, then it goes to another audit, and then another audit. Because auditing companies can overlook something
Correct.
that a previous auditing company did not see. So after you start accumulating so many different audits and it passes, and in different platforms, I can sleep soundly at night knowing that everything's safe and secure. So
Real
that
quickly,
Whoa, bro.
Jim, real quickly, you glazed over something about that lottery story, and it's something that I witnessed firsthand. So when I came to the project back in June, this was happening, and I happened to get into that thread where basically Shibnobi pulled everybody that was affected to the lottery into one chat, and there's about 15, 16 people, and a pretty significant financial loss. I don't know if you want to say the dollar value, but I watched as he refunded everyone out of his own pocket, as it was something that he kind of had a personal responsibility for. He didn't have to, but he went back and gave everybody their exact dollar amount for the money they had lost in that lottery, made things right, took the lottery down, make sure everything was secure, and as he says, develops everything from this point on in-house, and audits the audits for a reason. Security is key in this space, as we all know. Every day you hear about some other fucking hack, so that's not something that we like to talk about, but it's a pretty good story. We did fail, but Shibnobi was able to remedy that very quickly because of who he is. I don't think many project leaders would go out and give tens of thousands of dollars in refunds, the next day if something like that happened. But in our case, we're able to do that, and that's the type of leadership SquidGrow has, plain and simple.
Awesome sauce. So let me get to my next question.
Well, wait, X-Friends, one at a time, bud. I'm about to put you back in the queue because I got to be fair to the rest of the community.
Got you.
So
Thanks,
you're one to raise your hand back, but I got other people. Thanks, buddy. Okay, FX, you're going to be next, and then Dreams. You can go after FX22.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Drew, and thanks, Shibnobi, to you and your community for just seeing value in Shibnobi, and just trying to keep our project going. So I just wanted to just find out. I mean, what would you say would be the largest gain for our community if we were to vote yes for SquidGrow?
Yeah, the future of SquidGrow. I mean, although we have not publicly said the direction that we are going to an extent, we are a project and core team that fully backs and stands by everything that we publicly say. I fully fund everything out of personal pocket. We are not profiting from this. Majority of my core team are not even paid. We have paid mods, and that's the extent of that. We are working out of passion, and we all have the same vision and goals for SquidGrow. So what you would be gaining if you decided to come to SquidGrow is a very passionate core team that knows the direction that we are taking it, with essentially unlimited funding. I mean, just as an example, the exchanges we're listing on, I paid that out of pocket. That's not cheap. And we did it in a relatively fast time period. We're not afraid to spend money. As currently as the market stands, we are more focused on development of our utilities, because that is what is valuable to the project overall. Listing exchanges are of importance, but that's outweighed by development of the project. So if y'all voted to come to SquidGrow, you would be, joining a project that is just extremely passionate and dedicated to its community. I can often be found in Telegram. Many times I'm on VC for hours. I think the longest one I've ever done was 8 hours straight, something like that. But anytime I get on VC, it's for hours at a time. We're not shy. We're extremely reachable, extremely transparent. Obviously, we don't tip our hand on things that we are developing because there are always unknowns when it comes to development or partnerships or whatever it might be. I myself have been involved in projects where the core team has said they're going to do this or that by this date, and it doesn't happen. And I think, once community members start losing trust and faith in the core team, it's downhill from there. So I have never publicly had to eat my words. Everything I have ever spoken on has been done, and we're going to continue to do so.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dreams.
All right, guys. Had to corral my kid into the other room. He's going wild. Shib, what's up, buddy? I was talking to you the other night. It's kind of like, what's up, brother? I have an opinion, and then the second one's gonna be a question for you that we spoke on the other night as well. But my opinion about this, the 30% thing is probably a huge shock to everybody. And whether we figure out what these wallets are, the cliff controls, whether it brings up to 50% or whatever it is, I think we know it's not going to be one for one. I foresee, and I think everyone would, that, if let's say we get as soon as that vote happens and it gets voted Squid Grow, I would see a massive sell-off, and then I see a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, the way this thing just goes sideways real quick. That's the biggest hurdle, I think, right now. And you can comment on that if you want. But here's the question I asked you the other day in the VC. I think it's very important for our community and everyone in here listening. You as a developer, has there ever been any questionable behavior or unethical behavior that's been alleged against you? And how do you deal with FUD? And what does that look like when someone, or has someone done it before, and how has it been handled, or how do you handle FUD? Thanks, buddy.
Real quick. So, on the potential sell-offs, if it was to vote Squid Grow, I would take the stance that, we would draft an announcement and giving everybody the ability to sell their Shibnobi bag if they choose to do so. I'm sure some people wouldn't vote for it, and if it was to pass, I'm sure they're quite realistically would be some kind of sell-off. I can't do anything about that. I would not immediately cease trading. I think everybody needs to have the ability to sell their bag if they wish to do so, and then we just set a date and move forward from that. In regards to the fudding, I have been fudded quite consistently in the early days about who I am in the Shiba community. People have questioned whether or not I am the Shiba whale. But as far as ethics go, my ethics have never been questioned. I have had FUD shot my way in regards to my whale wallets. And I personally, if you come into my chat and you want to talk about it respectfully, we can talk about it. But I do not engage in argumentative behavior publicly. Somebody wants to do a tweet or a video or anything like that, I don't comment on it. I've got no time to focus on people that want to FUD, such unfounded allegations. So, that's about the extent of the FUD that we have incurred, as far as directed at me personally.
And Shib, let me add to that too. When it comes to handling FUD within our own community, our mods are very well equipped as far as educating people first. We don't just ban and mute unless there's a severe reason for that to happen. It's almost always if someone has an issue or they're worried or they're panicking, our mods will do a very good job educating them and helping to answer their questions and address those fears before just kicking someone out of a community. We feel that's an integral part for growth, is to make sure that we're helping investors. A lot of people that are new to this space and just don't understand some things, and sometimes they just need to be explained a few things, and you can turn maybe a doubter or a hater into a believer. And I think we do a very good job at that, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with that same mentality at Shibnobi with your mods that I've seen, who are all awesome, by the way.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and with that said, as I said, we've had fudders in the past. There's a good percentage of these fudders that have actually have converted into supporters of SquidGrow after talking to the community and myself. Just a prime example, the other night, a couple weeks ago on the roundtable, the CEO of Evergrow, he was a non-believer in my project and myself. And after some vetting that his team has done into me personally and my project, he publicly spoke on the fact that I am who I am. So that's just one example of a disbeliever turned supporter. There's been numerous other situations with YouTubers and such that they have put out a video to garnish maybe hype for themselves or try to catch us in a downtrend. The market's going up and down, and they try to attack us on the downtrend and call us a scam coin and so on and so forth. Obviously, I know what I named my project after, Squid Grow, and there's a negative stereotype, excuse me, with the squid name, but we're gonna change that. So don't count us out just based on our name. Our goals and our ambitions are true. I am completely dedicated to the direction that I'm taking this project. So don't write us off just because of the name. And with that said, there is a time and a place to lay all the FUD to rest. And obviously now is not the time at our current market cap state, but I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay, Lee's had a question, and then we're going to bring up, well, where'd he go? I unmuted him already. Bring him. Lee's, go ahead and ask your question. You there, Lee's?
I don't see her.
Okay.
Guys, you know my question to help me.
Hey, Lees, you're very quiet. You'll just need to speak a little bit louder. Oh, she's gone.
Can you hear me,
Okay.
guys?
Here. Oh, is that you? Are you? Lee's?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. I was asking if you have any plan for Shibnobi mods.
For Shibnobi wallets? Oh,
Mods.
mods. Yeah, so the mods, if Shinobi was to vote to come to Squid Grow, it would be on a case by case basis. If we see value from a mod, we will add them to our team. Obviously, there's factors in that equation, but I am not opposed to it at all. But it would be on a case by case basis. The mod would have to contact us, and we'd have to talk, and then decide from there.
Okay, go ahead, Shaq, and then X-Rins, you can go. I don't know if you're talking, Shaq, but we can't hear you, buddy. Shaq, if you can hear us, we cannot hear you. X-Rins, go ahead with your question, and hopefully Shaq can get his question fixed.
So, obviously, 30% of something is better than nothing. This is clear. All can agree. Without you, go ahead. I'll let him
Can
go.
you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shaq.
All right. So I was just saying, first of all, thanks, Shib, for coming out with your team. Really appreciate the proposal. Just one quick question, trying to wrap my head around. So what's the benefit from me selling my position and buying into SquidGrow at a higher dollar value than getting the 30% evaluation?
That's a very good question. And to be quite honest, if I'm being honest, that's the way I would play it myself. But you also have to factor in, the community that you've established with. You're kind of stood shoulder to shoulder with them. So if you're looking at it as like a team effort, obviously, the community as a whole makes that decision, and they do take a small, not a small, they do take a rather large percentage loss at current numbers. Obviously, those are subject to change, but there is nothing stopping anybody in this community from selling their position to withdraw those funds from the crypto space or invest into another community. That's completely, up to each investor. Outside of the proposal that we have offered, that's what we are able to do with the numbers that we have on hand. As I said, that percentage may come up. It won't be a 1-for-1. Obviously, the liquidity to market cap ratio is just not there to do that. But I mean, that is something everybody is free to do.
Yeah. No, so I
So
understand that. But however, if we would collectively agree to sell off, technically we would get more tokens of SquidGrow by selling and just buying the SquidGrow instead of the whole community proposal, correct?
well,
Yeah, but
obviously, the first couple people that sell are going to get the most out, and
Okay, I
the
got it.
people at
All right,
the
that's
people at
fair.
the bottom are going to end up with considerably less after
I got
everybody
it.
starts to tank. So it's
Okay,
kind of, you take, you take the percentage losses across the whole community versus a few profiting the most and others losing everything.
I got it. That's fair. All right, thanks so much.
Perfect. So I guess my last question would be about the potential of Squid Grow. Like, I know you can't. I'm not asking for no numbers or anything like that, but given how big you are and how integral you are, what's the probability of this eclipsing you? Honestly.
I'm 100% invested in this. I'm putting everything into it. I mean, I'm going to be a part of my project for the duration and the lifespan of the project. Um, I mean, outside of that, I'm not really sure what else I could say. Um, as far as outgrowing me per se and eclipsing me, um, I'm gonna remain a pillar in my community for the duration of the project. So, I mean, I hope, I'm sure that's probably not the answer you were looking for, but
No. That's the truth is the answer. So again,
yeah,
that's it. Thanks.
yep.
okay, Jim Squid, go ahead, and if you've got any other people that have questions, mods, again, if you've got questions, just DM me. Let me know you want me to squeeze you in. I will. And anybody else in the community that has questions for the Squid Grow team in Shibtoshi, raise your hand. We'll get you in.
Okay, thank you very much for letting me speak. Hello, everyone, and I just want to say that this discussion has been very interesting. And as an investor in SquidGrow, I just wanted to pitch in, not really have any questions, but to say my 2 cents as an investor. Uh, um, Things I look for in the project is the community, as Shibtoshi said, and how good are the devs and the team. And one thing that I haven't seen in many other projects, as far as I have been in crypto business, is that often you see projects that have percentage on the buy and the sell tax, and so they can market things and to pay off things. And to know about SquidGrow, that being very good is that all the buy and sell tax goes to the liquidity. So for the future of benefits, if someone wants to cash out, we will have a very thick liquidity that won't make a big dent on the chart. And that's very good, because in the big future, or let me say on the future things, everyone wants to cash out and take some profits. And if you have bad liquidity, that will hurt the project. So further all, I don't know either if Satoshi have touched on this. You misspelled. You said something that you shouldn't do one time about a line of code. So they are building something very, very great. We don't know what it is. The motto on SquidGrow is under promise over deliver. And if you want to see more about SquidGrow and here, you're free to join the Telegram chat. And yeah, thank you for having me up. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
Stone?
I'll touch on that briefly. Several months ago, we put out. Now, obviously, SquidGrow is not a DAO; it's not a voting system. But we were trying something new in regards to. We wanted to see the sentiment in the community on what they felt about our name, and with this proposal that we put out for a potential name change, that was obviously heavily voted against. The dev that drafted that posted something without my review, and he disclosed some information in this about a direction and a utility that we were or have been working on. And what the gentleman was just referring to is the 200,000 lines of code utility that we're developing on, which last I got an update on, it's about 236. This is not public. We have not publicly spoken on it. It was published to the community. That dev is no longer with us now because of this oversight that he had, but it put us in a position to where we had some questions that we had to answer. So all that we have said is, yes, we are developing a utility. Currently, at last update, it's 236,000 lines of code deep. Just to kind of give an example, our initial SGX perpetual exchange was 10,000 lines of code. We are developing for the future, and when the time comes, and if it's beneficial to the community, these utilities will roll out. But that's what the gentleman was referring to. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly.
Okay, Stone, come on up.
Hey, good to see you again here. I have a question from a community member. He's asking, what sort of business did you run before getting in crypto?
I am undoxed, and I have no plans of doxing, and therefore I do not touch on my personal life. It could be a means to have me tracked down, and I take my privacy and security and my family's privacy and security of the utmost importance. So I do not get into my background.
Okay, great. I understand. Thank you.
All right. Brenz, I think you had your hand up again in wishes, cryptic wishes. Go ahead. And you know, this is the time to ask questions. So don't be shy. Throw your hand up. You know, if you don't want to talk in the chat, put your question in the main chat, and you know, one of our mods can you know, relay your question.
Okay. Yeah. My question was kind of really simple. Moving forward, I guess I think you said that you're willing to give us like a channel, a drop down on your website. Have you done that for everyone else, or is this like a first time one-on-one, or are you
It's
gonna
a
do that
one.
for everyone?
It's something that we do plan on implementing, depending on the situation of the project that we have absorbed. Shinobi will be the first that we put on there.
Yeah, I'm all the way in.
I got one for you, Shib. Kind of a request. What's that? What's the chances of you bankrolling this thing, baby, and getting us close to that 1-for-1? Come on, man.
Say that again. What's
more
the
of a joke.
Okay.
What's the chance of getting you to? What's the chance of getting you to bankroll this thing and flex that bag? Get us close to that 1-for-1, baby.
Yeah. So yeah. Obviously, you know, within reason, you know, I am open to proposals and suggestions, but I have to remain fair to my community, and I cannot give anybody special treatment. So that is kind of the basis of where we have um, gotten to on our proposal. You know,
Right.
so anything that I
I'm
have,
just kind of joking with
yeah,
you,
I know,
brother. But the thing is,
I understand.
I really like, I really like your community over there, man. It's live. I like the way you guys show. I like where my research I did over the past few days with you guys. I think we're a lot of us are looking forward to maybe hooking up with you, but I'm really worried. I don't foresee us going that route just because of the immediate loss, you know. But it's possible still. But man, I just wish you could sweeten the pot somehow, brother.
And no favoritism. Don't do it.
Yeah. So cryptic wishes, and then first
Yep.
million, and then FX22. Go ahead. So wishes, you're first.
All right. So the question I had, Shib, was I know like I saw some numbers in terms of the number of devs you have. I saw like about 100 and like 112 or some high number. So the
112.
question, yeah. So the question is like, uh, in terms of like, why do you have such a huge number of devs? Like, are you guys building a lot of utilities, or what's the basis behind having such a huge number?
Understood. Great question. I can touch on this to an extent. So starting out, we had 15 devs, over 2 dev houses located in Poland and Dubai. With the recent direction that we are going, um, we needed to acquire more devs that specialize in different areas of coding, such as app React, app development, Solidity, Python. And although my current devs are great at what they do, if they get into an area where they are not, um, you know, fully submerged in this particular area of expertise, there's a learning curve there, and it kind of slows us down. Devs are not cheap, and believe it or not, from a number standpoint, it made more sense to expand. So we have made a partnership with a dev house that we can scale all the way up to 1,000 devs if we shall ever need it. But currently, we acquired 97 new devs to join the 15 dev team that we currently had. Now, the 112, 113 devs that we currently have, not all of them are currently working, but they are contractually attached to us, so they cannot work for other projects. We have them at our disposal. This will come into play later on with future utilities and also with current utilities that we are developing, but it's better to plan for the future than to kind of need something and not have it. This is a game of chess, not checkers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, first million.
Hello, good day, all. I'm just trying to find. First of all, I like the way you completely lay down everything. No sugarcoating. You were straightforward, and you said everything about what you were going to do. Nothing like plan A or B. So people will easily choose or say, "Is this is what we want," or "This is what we don't want." So I like that part. And secondly, I just want to ask, what's the 30% about? Is it that we're going to lose 30%?
Yeah,
Or
no. Actually, so as we touched on earlier, we're going off of liquidity ratio and to your market cap. And with the wallets that we have excluded that are known to us, being your treasury and your deployer wallet, you would be losing essentially 70% of your bag value, and you would be retaining 30%. Now, these numbers are subject to change. After Cliff gets us project controlled addresses, we can exclude those. Just as an example, we did not exclude your staking contract. So your staking contract is factored into this. So obviously, depending on the dollar amount that is in there and your token count, that would be excluded completely, driving up the percentage of what you would gain. But until I get the addresses that of wallets that Cliff controls, with the information on hand, I can't guesstimate on what's excluded. So with the information on hand, like I said, and taking into consideration that the staking contract was still factored in, you would be retaining 30 to 31% of your bag value. Now, after Cliff gets me the addresses of the staking and any other wallets that he controls, we can exclude those from the numbers, and that would bring up the percentages. I can't say if it would be significant or not. We have to run the numbers on that. But as of now, you would be retaining 30% of your bag value. So just to be clear, you would be losing 70% of your dollar value currently. Now that is subject to change based on numbers that Cliff provides us.
Yeah, and it's also gonna keep in mind, it's also going to include, you know, the migration has to end at a specific time. It cannot go on infinitely, and so there's tokens in that migration wallet as well. And I don't believe that you guys were provided that information either. So
No, we were only provided the deployer and I believe your treasury. That was it.
Right. So, and this is what I was trying to explain to everybody. You know, we're talking about a pretty significant amount of tokens that are out there that they did not take into account doing their figures, and those numbers are going to change. So, you know, it doesn't mean everybody's going to get a 1-for-1 still, but you could see that 30% change pretty drastically once they have all that information. And, you know, I'm going to work to get that for them. And, you know, I was not aware of what they did or did not have. And, you know, I thought Cliff had sent it all over. So we'll get that straightened out. They can adjust their numbers, and, you know, I'll make sure that it's put out to the community. So First Millions, who did I say was after you? Because they've moved. I know I called the name. Oh, FX. And then FX after you, one of our mods, Shinjazuela, he's going to have a question.
Okay, thanks.
And anybody else, please raise your hand.
Thanks again. I just wanted to find out, looking at your long-term vision, how many more projects are you hoping to or planning to absorb?
I plan on trying to absorb everyone. We have reached out to projects that are thriving in the hundreds of millions of market cap with 20 million plus in liquidity and over 1 million holders, and projects that, you know, example, have 60K in liquidity. If it's a benefit to my community, I am interested. And some might say, well, you're cutting the line, you're taking a shortcut. But what we are offering to various communities is an opportunity to actually get involved in something with substance and something that has a direction to it, and a core team that is driven and determined to see that we deliver for our community. As I said, not all projects are struggling. Some of them are thriving. Others are, you know, starting to struggle. And we are offering an opportunity to get involved in something real and, you know, recover some of the losses that have been incurred. You know, now I don't expect, if this was to go through from Shibnobi, I don't expect everybody to hold their bag indefinitely. I encourage profit taking into my community. I just ask that everybody do it respectfully, in a way that they're thinking about the smaller guys that are invested and the newer holders. But you know, I am on a certain path right now for the project, and going around and inquiring different projects is on our radar. With that said, I did not actively seek out Shibnobi. It was brought to me. And after, you know, my first phone call with Cliff, I was unaware of the situations that have transpired. I'm sure there's still some details that I'm unfamiliar with, but I have a fairly decent idea of the picture. And, you know, at the end of the day, if the SquidGrow vote does not go, I'm sure the community has put their heads together and thought what is, you know, the best direction for the community as a whole to go. And there is no hard feelings on my end. I'm not desperate. You know, I'm not giving favoritism here. the numbers are what the numbers are. Those are obviously subject to change depending on a few things, but I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I mean, the facts are the facts, and the proposal is the best that we can do currently with the numbers that we have on hand.
Hey, Shib, can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, since we're talking numbers, I know there's one number everybody's talk on, and it's maybe it's the 30%, maybe it goes up to 40%. I get it. I would be hung up on that too. I just want to take this moment to say that, speaking of numbers, there's a lot that he kind of just alluded to there to digest. The first is, of course, Squid Grow absorbing other projects. This is not something that we unveiled basically until about 2 weeks ago. So you guys are pretty much, you would be the second project if that vote went through that we sort of merged with, and it will not be the last. And to me, I would interpret that as there's going to be some big buys on the chart from potential projects coming up after that would serve to boost that 30%, that 40%, whatever it may be, loss really quickly and make it to where it's a thing of the past. Secondly, I'd like to go back to what Shibtoshi talked about at the very beginning of the pitch, where he spoke on SGX. And for those not familiar with what a perpetual exchange is, it allows you to trade the futures perpetuals markets on the DeFi level while owning your keys and not having to risk putting tokens on any exchange. As we all know, there was a lot of FUD on that back with the FTX Binance drama. I mean, who knows? Maybe there will be FUD again. But a lot of people prefer to stay in DeFi and own their keys. So those are becoming hot commodities. And if you look at the leading commodity, if you're talking about numbers, when it comes to perpetual exchanges, it's one by the name of GMX. They're currently sitting at about a 697 million market cap. The only thing they have is that perpetual exchange. Our perpetual exchange, SGX, will be a standalone exchange. And what's unique about it is Shibtoshi will actually be forking over our own liquidity. So one of the problems GMX has had is they've had liquidity troubles. They've been limited liquidity and things like that. That's something that Shibtoshi has made a personal basically promise to our community, that we will not have liquidity problems. So that's a pretty unique thing, just taking to the account that one utility has taken them almost to 700 million market cap. And this is just one of many things that we're going to be doing at SquidGrow. With that said, there's another hidden benefit that I would want to harp on again, and that is that profits from that exchange, a significant percentage of that will flow directly back into SquidGrow's chart as both buybacks, staking pool percentage increases, all sorts of good things that benefit the community. So that exchange will actually directly benefit holders of the SquidGrow chart and community. So that's something I just wanted to touch on. And again, one of the things that I think is essential for success when it comes to any community, I love community-driven projects. I love DAOs. That's one of the coolest things to me, is that crypto has formed that over the past few years. But I firmly believe that successful crypto projects, you can look across all of them, and at the top, you will find a strong-willed, passionate leader who goes above and beyond for that project. Whether it is Vitalik for ETH back in the beginning days, it's a little less crazy now, or CZ for Binance, or you can come all the way down to the projects I mentioned I worked with, like Veracity with RJ. You can go like Floki with Saber. You name it, Ryoshi for Shiba. These projects that succeeded, it wasn't an accident. It was largely and due to the person at the top driving and steering that ship. And at our core of SquidGrow, we have a top 50 Bitcoin whale, the number one Shiba whale, who's never sold his bag, still maintains the value because he doesn't need that. It's a mega whale behind our project that has basically staked his entire personal reputation to make this project grow. And we're coming at you at a time when we're sitting at about 15 million market cap, and in the middle of a sideways transitory market where obviously the times are tough for everybody. But when you factor in the strong leadership and the utilities that we have coming, it's just the ingredients are there. And yes, maybe you take a 30-40% of your bag loss in the beginning, but I believe there's a real opportunity here for you guys to get in at the grassroots level of a new project that would be almost like the equivalent of getting into Shinja back when it first started, and to be able to give yourself an opportunity to ride that roller coaster up to the top again, and perhaps exit at a much greater amount of X's again. I love that you guys are passionate about the name, the logo, the community. That's one of the coolest things. I really, really enjoy seeing your guys' community and it thriving like that. But at the end of the day, my philosophy is that X's are X's. You know, I've hopped around between projects, I've taken losses, but and I've made great friends in crypto in the process. But X's are X's. We are all here to make money. And I think with this guy, Shibtoshi, who is becoming really quickly a legend in the space. In fact, he's a top 100. You know, he's been on the list of top 100 most influential people in crypto now a few times, sitting at like number 60 already. You know, with that type of leadership, I think the sky's the limit. And when you combine communities like ours together to create a well-oiled machine, which we will continue to do after, you know, with whether or not this passes or not, you know, the ingredients are there. And I'm excited to have met this community and given the opportunity to present. We wish nothing but the best for you guys. But what you're hearing here is real and sincere, and we're not sugarcoating anything. We're just telling you like it is. But I'm just throwing some numbers at you there because I'm a bit of a realist when it comes to those types of things. So, you know, the GMX thing, the Mike Miller NFTs, when NFTs come back, the marketplace, the fact that we're migrating onto ETH after having to basically navigate a brutal BSC market. There's a very big future for SquidGrow, and we would be honored to have this community become a part of it. But again, regardless of which decision you guys make, we respect that, and we wish nothing but success for all the investors here at Shibnobi.
Thank you.
Shinza's Wayla, go ahead, buddy.
Thanks, Drew. First, I want to say thank you guys for being here, for showing support into our community. I have a question. I know you mentioned earlier that it kind of sounded like you guys are not too interested in our utilities due to all the the extra works that you guys will have to put in for, and also that you guys prefer utilities that comes out of your your team. My question after that is, what is the benefits from you guys um, acquiring us for us, your community? What will be the point and the most beneficial way for you guys? Why bring us to you guys?
Are you asking how it will benefit my community?
Correct. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, we're here just like the other guy mentions about exit, and that's what will be the main focus for you guys. So,
Well, obviously, we're expanding our community. We're growing in that aspect. Depending on the methods that the Shinobi community would choose, the Shinobi liquidity would either be added to the Ethereum side, helping establish a strong liquidity on Ethereum, or if y'all opted for the option where y'all become BSC holders with the option to move to Ethereum when Ethereum goes live, in that aspect, the liquidity would be a buy on the chart, and obviously would pump my chart for my community. So those are the different aspects. You know, we also get a diverse crowd from a different area of the crypto that maybe they have not been exposed to, different ideas. And when us as a project are asking our communities, for feedback on different utilities we're developing, or a different direction, we would have a new influx of point of views in the community. So that would probably be of benefit, I'm sure, as well. I'm sure everybody, has their own unique views on different things. And, SquidGrow definitely factors that in when we ask publicly for opinions.
All right. So, guys, I'm sorry. I need to jump in here for a second because I'm getting a lot of DMs because there's some sales on. And, I want to calm nerves. Everybody needs to understand this is a discussion. That's all it is. No decision's been made, and the community gets the ultimate say. So there's no reason to go panic sell. there's no reason to freak out. There's no reason to be aggressive towards people in the chat. It's a discussion, and it's okay to come up here with hard questions. I mean, they expect that 100%. You know, just let's be respectful and not turn this into something that it doesn't need to be. You know, not that it's gotten too out of hand, but you know, there's a little bit of passive aggressiveness going on in the text chat, and people just need to take a breath, absorb what's going on, and realize that we still have numbers that we need to get, so we can, you know, allow them to come back with the numbers that they don't have. They cannot figure any kind of numbers without all the information, and it was made clear that all that information has yet to be provided. So just everybody calm, please.
That's exactly right, guys. Like we're still waiting on a number of other wallets, which will likely significantly change the percentage amount. But on top of that as well, there's still like this is not at all decided. It comes down to you guys, and there's still a vote that needs to happen. So I would encourage everyone to just, you know, take that advice on, you know, not panic and sell at this time, but just listen and hear everyone out, and then speak amongst yourselves as a community, take the vote, and go from there.
Yep. So hold on a second, I just had them there. Bigum's World, you're gonna go, and then EK, you're gonna go. And Dane, I'm sorry you got muted, my friend. I got you unmuted. That might have been an accident.
No, you're good, Ed. Just my Wi-Fi just kicked me out, so I appreciate it.
Okay, not a problem.
Hi,
So go
everyone.
ahead, Bigum.
Hi. Obviously, whatever decision Shibnobi makes, I'm going to be on board. I just want to say, though, every time I hear the word merge or migrate, I'm not a pro. So I just want to know if the decision is made to get on board with SquidGrow, will there be step-by-step instructions on how you migrate with them? Because I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, there will be step-by-step instructions, and essentially, you know, the Shinobi community will not have to do anything. As I have previously said, if the vote was to go through, we would put out an announcement after obviously I gain ownership of the contract. We would put out an announcement, and with a date and time that trading would be disabled for Shinobi. And
Okay.
at that date and time, trading would be disabled. Your tokens, you would not be able to interact with the contract, so you wouldn't be able to move your tokens at that point. We take a snapshot of all the community holders, and based on the liquidity that we gain, we would purchase tokens on. Well, it depends on how the Shinobi community would want to do it. We can either do a purchase on the BSC chain and airdrop those tokens to the community.
Okay.
Or we could take that liquidity and add it into our ILO for the 5% bonus and then airdrop the community. But you would not have to do anything.
Great.
As long as you are still holding your Shinobi bag, you will still be a holder. And when we take our snapshot, when trading is disabled, we would be calculating the final airdrop based on the amount of Shinobi tokens and dollar value that you currently have.
Okay, you put my heart to ease. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to do anything.
Okay.
I get that. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty when you say the word migration and when you say the word airdrops and all these things. I've been a part of several high-profile ones, including the Floki ones. Kiba, there was one with Catcoin I was a part of. You know, the hardest part is really just planning and figuring out the numbers, and then after that, the process is actually really easy. And so that would be the due diligence that's being done in the background now, getting the numbers from Cliff and all those other wallets that we need to see. All that stuff's done beforehand, and the actual process of the airdrop is quite simple.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, it's like that word migration gets thrown around a lot in crypto, and it's we've all been in projects that go through a migration, but this is not a traditional like contract migration where like people would obviously migrate to a V2. This is something completely different, and I can understand that when you heard that word, it does create some fear. But as Shib just said, at the end of the day, if this was to be voted on by the Shibnobi community, then you guys would basically have to do nothing.
Sound good to me. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, EK.
Hey,
Wanna-
hello everyone. How's it going, Sheb, in the Shinja community?
Hey, how's it going, EK?
Okay, good. Probably, I'm in the Squid Grow community. Probably nobody knows that I have. I hold some of the Shinja. It's been the first bag that I got in Shinja was 326 days ago. I'm here. I don't have any question or anything like that. Just my story. Because I'm active in the Squid Grow community for the last 6 months. So, I mean, if that's okay, to tell my story, how I got involved with Squid Grow, since
Sure.
I was, you know. So, the first time when I heard about Squid Grow, I went to the Telegram group and asked questions to the mods, and everyone, because it was, freaking like the guy that turned 8k to 5.7 billion. I just wanted to talk to that guy. That was all. So I went there, asked question and stuff like that, and then made a little. I got a little bag of like, it was like around $500. So I asked question and boom, Toshi was there. And it was really fun talking to him and stuff like that. In the crypto space, I'm for the previous 4 years now, and in the macro cape projects, I had over 50, 60, 100,000 investment, where in the community it was really hard to talk with any developer or the owner. But in Squid Grow, that was not the case. Shib was there. I asked so many questions, and he basically answered all. In the other groups, if you go ask some hard question, the next thing you're banned. But in Squid Grow, it wasn't like that. And after that, I'm not going to name any project. I sold all of my macro cap projects, and then I went in all in Squid Grow. But I still have my Shinja, the V1. I have to migrate that, and then hopefully I'll do that as well. So that was just a comment, no question or nothing like that, or not chilling. Hopefully, the Shinja community will decide and then go the route that is beneficial for the community. With that being said, that's all.
Thank you, EK, for coming up. I appreciate your words.
Always, brother.
All right, Extrins, I see you got another question. If we have any, yeah, please raise your hand, and then I've got a question myself that I'd like to ask. So
Perfect. So my question is about how you said, hey, what you're willing to do is like give us a spot on your page, like that in itself, as being $1 billion project that we are and $1 billion community. Could we lock that in? Would that be indefinite, or would someone be able to take that spot?
No, it would be indefinite on the website.
Solid.
So it would stay on the website. Not to put it in any kind of blunt way, but kind of, I guess, simple terms, is just kind of like a shrine to the community.
Facts.
I don't see any harm in that. It will be on a drop down tab. We will create a tab and it will be there. Obviously, if we can find a location to put it somewhere on the main page, I am open to that. I am not stuck on the drop down tag. I would have to confer with my devs, but anything I want, they will implement. So however we see fit.
So would all the other projects that you bring in, would they go up under that? Because that's what I'm asking. Because that's what I want. Shit. I'm just
Okay,
so long as we can stay at the top, that's all I don't care.
you would remain at the top, yes. If we were to start adding other projects in there, it would kind of come at it would be displayed in the order of absorption. So obviously, start kicking it off with Shinobi, you would remain at the top.
So long as we're at the top, I don't care. We can take Bitcoin. I don't care. So long as we're at the top, like, give it to me. Thanks.
Yep.
Take them all.
Okay, no other questions. I'm gonna ask mine. So, you alluded earlier to the fact that there's 2 other projects that you're in talks with.
There's several other projects.
Well, I mean,
I think
yeah,
I think there's a
yeah,
total of 4 we're currently talking to. But yeah, I spoke on 2.
right. So the 2 that you spoke on, and this is, I guess, a hypothetical, but if you're to absorb a project with 1 million holders and then another one with 140,000 holders, what does that do? I mean, what could the community, be looking forward to as far as how that's going to move your chart?
Okay, so depending on the scenario that we move forward with those different projects, depending on if they choose to participate in the ILO or they decide to do buys on the chart. Obviously, at some point in time, ETH is going to be live, so that those communities could pick either BSC or Ethereum. But essentially, what we're going to do is very similar to what we did with the previous project we absorbed. We would take the liquidity and start doing a series of buys on the chart, pumping the market cap in the process. So, just an example, trying to absorb $20 million in liquidity. Obviously, we don't have the tokens currently to do that. So how we would do that, obviously, is take the liquidity, start buying the chart, pumping the price, and moving the token price along the way. So after our market cap gets close to what this other project is, after the tokens have been acquired, then those tokens are airdropped to that community. So the benefit would be we're pumping the price with the liquidity, with in the form of buys on the chart.
Right, and and that's just one of the things that I wanted to sort of point out to everybody that maybe they didn't catch. But you're looking at. I know everybody's focused on the 30% right now, but you also have to consider if those projects are absorbed, that 30% that's going to change drastically. So it's just food for thought. So everybody's, thinking out the whole scenario. And it's not an endorsement for this. Again, my job here is to keep my community as informed as possible and, just have them think of each and every scenario, within that. So,
just going off of the current numbers at hand, obviously we have addresses we gotta take into consideration. But if you are retaining 30% of value 6 months from now, you're not going to remember that loss. I mean, you might, but it's not going to be staring at you in the face when you check in your wallet balance. I'm sure it's probably hard to digest initially, but that will change. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to go after the king. And, within doing so, my community benefits from that because we continue to grow. Our market cap continues to go up. Liquidity continues to get thick, and it's very beneficial to everybody.
Question. So, based on the numbers now, this is for me. Based on my bad, Lars. I know I kind of hopped in there. Based on the numbers now, what would someone have to put in to become Squid Toshi?
I think we actually have a Squid Toshi in the community right now.
I'm in an actual Squid Toshi. So you're telling me your project's already made billionaires?
No, my project has not made billionaires. No, we've.
That's what I mean by Squid Toshi.
Okay, so market cap wise, what we would have to go up to mint a billionaire? Is
Yeah,
that what you're asking?
What do I need to purchase? Because you put in 8 grand.
I would have to run those numbers. Yeah, it would be dependent on what you hold. I know at the top of 50 million, we had millionaires. Currently, I think our biggest bag holder is $300,000 or $400,000 currently. Obviously, when we start touching, 100 million plus, depending on bag size, we didn't have on our run up to 50 million. We didn't have very big bag holders at that time. We have slightly bigger holders currently. But 100 million plus, obviously, there's going to be millionaires floating around. But as far as the exact numbers, I would have to run those. I couldn't just do them off the cuff.
I'll ask you again. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Got a quick question, if Drew, you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Now, any projects that you guys like you guys mentioned, you guys have a few projects that you guys are in the talk to. Are you guys not on the 30% token wise? I know that's kind of based on market cap and stuff like that, but you guys are doing pretty much the same kind of deal with them as you guys are going to absorb them and then use their liquidity pool to put it into SquidGrow?
Correct. So I'll speak on the previous project we absorbed. I had that team remove the liquidity, and that team did a buy on the chart, and they controlled the SquidGrow tokens until we finalized numbers. That buy that they did on their end from their deployer paid a 4% tax to liquidity, which benefited my community. And then they did the buy on the chart. And after the numbers were finalized and agreed, they transferred me the tokens to my deployer for me to distribute as a mass airdrop to the community. But yes, it would be very similar to that because we have, two different options essentially for the Shibnobi community. It would kind of be dependent on what the Shibnobi community decides. Versus, if they wanted to become a BSC holder, then to, trade in tokens later for the Ethereum if they choose to do so, or if they want to contribute to the ILO. By contributing to the ILO, there is no tax paid, and there is a 5% bonus. If the Shibnobi community decides to come to us, there will be a buy on the chart. Now, depending on if I do the buy from the deployer, it will be zero tax. If the Shibnobi community on their end does a tax or does a buy with the liquidity, it will be taxed. I will not be whitelisting Shibnobi's wallets to do a buy on my chart. So if they want me to do the buy, I would have to be transferred the liquidity tokens then to do the buy on the chart myself. But I do not whitelist other projects' wallets to interact with my contract. In fact, very clearly in our audits and on our website, we run anti-bot measures in our contract, and other contracts cannot interact with our contract. They run the risk of being blacklisted. So people cannot, run arbitrage bots on our charts or some kind of code base to interact with our chart. In the early days, there was tokens that, such as SquidGrow burn token, that was directly trying to interact with my chart, and they actually got their contract blacklisted. So they were unable to purchase our tokens at all the second that it tried to attach to our contract. So in that scenario, if you opted for the BSC side, depending on how it went down, if I did the buy or Cliff did the buy from the Shibnobi end, it would be a 4% tax. If I was transferred the liquidity to do the buy to my deployer, I would do the tax, and there would be no tax paid on that. That would obviously be more beneficial to the community because it would allow them to retain more tokens and nothing go to tax.
Very excellent. Now, in the point of we have pre-sellers that they have limitation on sales and stuff like that. How that will work with you guys?
Say that one more time.
I got it, Duela. So we've got pre-sellers that they've got sell limitations on their wallets at the moment because they hold a large, sum of the coins, and that was done to keep, just decimation of the chart.
Yep. I would not honor the sell limitations. I would view them as any holder, and they would be treated as equal to everybody else. Obviously, that could be problematic depending on their bag size that they hold, but I will not start selling limitations on sells. I do not do vesting periods in my project. I am publicly against that, so nobody would be vested for any duration of time on that. So as far as I'm concerned, once they are airdropped their tokens, it's their investment to do as they wish.
I would also add, Shib, if I was an investor and this was my project and it was merging into something else, I would want to know about the whale situation. And so in our case, since we've been around for a while, we've had, obviously we've survived the FTX drama and some brutal bearish capitulation of Bitcoin. In that process, a lot of our original whales who were whales in the beginning from that stealth launch that we did basically at 25, 30K is, they're mostly gone. They mostly sold their bags. We actually have a very healthy distribution of tokens at the top, and that's something that we're proud of. Additionally, we have really, really good relations with our whales. We actually do have a whale group. We're all very active in that, and we keep close relations with them to hold the floor. Another cool stat with SquidGrow that makes it very unique is we actually have 53% of our tokens staked, and those are all user tokens that were staked manually. And we'll continue to have staking on both ETH and BSC platforms with really nice APR for people that choose to earn passive income through that method. So that's something that we pride ourselves on.
Also, there is no locking period on our staking contracts, so you are free to come in and leave as you choose. I will touch on, currently we have a 2% tax in the staking contract. That 2% tax that is paid goes back into the staking contracts to help with sustainability. But in full transparency, when we roll out SGX, which is our new DEX, will debut with our Ethereum launch. We have a new staking contract that is currently in audit. And from talking to the community, we have decided to implement tax a little differently. So in our new staking contract, there will be a 2% tax going in, a 2% tax going out, and a 6% tax on harvest of rewards on that. And again, our rewards are not paid out based on volume. I do buys on the chart and I feed them. So it doesn't matter if we're at a standstill, everybody's still getting the rewards. They are variable. But obviously that's subject to change if there's an influx of people in there or an outflux of people. If you are currently in my staking contract, at the time the new contract goes live, we will take a snapshot. All the addresses that are currently in there will be whitelisted to interact with the new contract on BSC. You will not be whitelisted for the Ethereum contract. It's a new token staking contract, so you would have to pay the tax to go into that. But anybody that's currently in the contract on BSC side would be whitelisted, and upon them entering into the contract, the whitelist would then be removed. And if they decided to obviously remove their tokens, they would pay a 2% out tax. And if they decide to harvest rewards, as they can do so freely, there is a 6% on that. It's a little different than what we have currently, but because of the lucrative APRs that we have offered over the time, we have seen some sell pressure from that. And we are trying to make it beneficial to everybody in the staking contract that, to continue to get benefit from that in some way, shape, or form. And we are doing that to, help our staking contracts be self-sustainable. With that said, the APRs on BSC are currently around 20% for token and around 200% in LP staking. We will scale those down. When we debuted our staking contracts, I believe the token APR was around 150. And initially our LP staking was around 500. And on Ethereum, our token APR will debut at 100% APR, and the LP staking will be between 200 to 300% APR. Those will be scaled down over time. It will not be done immediately. It will be done gradually. And kind of going back to an earlier question, somebody had asked me about failures and troubles that we have ran into talking about the staking contracts. This brings something else to mind. When we debuted our new swap with our new contracts that we are currently using, we are a 19 decimal token. There was an issue with our contract in the way that it was coded for 18. So essentially, if you deposited $10,000 in SquidGrow token, it was showing that you had $100,000 in SquidGrow tokens, and therefore your rewards that you were accumulating were off by 10x. After getting some feedback from the community on that, the team did not directly interact with the staking contracts. My devs did, because I forbid my core team from interacting with the contracts at all. Those tokens are for the community. We were able to fix the token APR, and then I was told that the LP APR was fixed as well. I had publicly spoken on that when I was asked if the APR is truly 1,000% APR. I publicly said, yes, that is true. I got reports that there was still a decimal issue off. It's the first and only time I've ever tested the LP staking myself. I determined that there was still a decimal issue. I had it fixed, and I made it public to the community that I was going to keep the LP APR at a true 1,000% for the duration of a week, which was the length of time that we had been public. For those that were drawn to the LP staking because of the high LP pool, and then realized after they got in there and paid their tax that it was not a true 1,000%. I threw a couple $100,000 in the staking contracts and fixed the APR at 1,000% for the set amount of time, and then after that scaled it down to 100. And that was just one way that I tried to make it right with my community, because I did publicly mislead them. I was under a different impression. That's my fault, and I did my best to make it right, and everybody seemed to be happy with that. For those that jumped into the LP staking and then jumped out because they realized the LP pool was not a true 1,000%, I compensated them in the form of USDT for the taxes that they had lost, and everybody that remained in the LP pool, I gave them the tokens that they lost, and then I kept the LP APR at a true 1,000%. So it was a win for everybody all the way around.
If I can just ask one more thing that it just came up to my mind.
Okay.
Wait, one second.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've had somebody waiting. I got to find him here. He slipped down the. Go ahead. He might have ducked out. Go ahead.
Okay. I know you guys have your own staking. I mean, NFTs and everything. I think somebody kind of asked earlier about it. Would you guys consider to do something with the people that has NFTs if it comes to the point of you guys? I mean, the community voting for you guys.
So now I would have to check into the logistics of this, but the way my staking contracts are set up is obviously you can stake your NFTs for boosting rewards, and I can also open up other tokens to be staked. As an example, if you're a Shiba Inu holder and I open a pool for you, your Shiba Inu token can be staked in my contract and you can earn SquidGrow token. So I am flexible in that manner. I would have to look into the ability to actually open another pool for Shibnobi NFTs to be staked in our contract for boost of rewards. You would have to be staking SquidGrow token in order to qualify for that boosting. But I should be able to actually open up an NFT staking pool for Shibnobi NFTs that could be staked and for boost of rewards if you are currently staking SquidGrow tokens. I would have to look into the contract and contact my devs about that, so please do not hold me to that. But if I'm able to do so, I would be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, if you guys are able to, I mean, I think that will be a really big plus because I know there's a lot of people that hold a lot of NFTs, so that would be great.
Yeah, if I can accommodate in that manner, I don't see harm in doing that.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to nail this down to 2 more questions. Aquaism, you're one. Antoine, if you are still in here, please raise your hand again, and I'll bring you back up. But go ahead, Aquaism.
Hey, since six listening. I don't really have a question. Piggybacking off of the last person said that if you can offer something, or if that's within your power, and it seems feasible for you guys, offering something for the NFTs that we have, I think that's a big bonus, so that we don't just lose the value of the NFTs that we're currently holding. So, I mean, that's what I wanted to say, is that if that is possible, then that's definitely something, a big plus for me. Definitely, trying to go this route. 33%, I get it. It can, I understand, it can vary depending on the rest of the wallet, that kind of good stuff. But if we can just have an opportunity to stake our NFTs, because a lot of us have a lot of NFTs. So if that is a if that's possible, then that'd be a big plus. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
that's a question I can actually ask my devs, and at the time that I acquire the other addresses and run the numbers again, I should have an update on the ability to implement the Shibnobi NFTs into the staking contracts. So I should be able to give you an answer on both of those.
Shib, also integrating them into our NFT marketplace that we have coming as well, right? Like, I'm sure that would be pretty.
Yeah, we can do that easily. We can have it integrated into our NFT marketplace. That's easy. I'm just would have to check about the staking contracting, but yeah, hosting the NFTs on our marketplace, that's easy to do. That's a sure thing.
Well, gentlemen, we spent 2.5 hours in here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to, do your presentation and answer these questions. Oh, Antoine, I see you're back. Go ahead and ask your question, bud, because I know you were waiting.
Thank you. Oh.
Need to unmute there, Antoine, and you can ask your question of the Squid Grow devs.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear for everyone that it seems like their strategy is they don't really care about the utilities for any of the companies that they're acquiring, because they're not going to use them anyway. That their core strategy is mainly just to grow their company by acquisition. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone really understands that.
Yeah, it's not about that we don't care about using the utility. It comes down to somebody else develop those utilities, and I can't give my stamp of approval on those unless, as I spoke on earlier, I have my dev team go through every line of that code base, and then I myself have it audited. So it's not that we are discarding everybody's utility. I can't, for security reasons, I can't give my stamp of approval and open it up to my community. I owe it to them that I'm able to stand by the security of another utility. And as I said, because I was not the owner of these utilities and I did not develop them, it is so very easy to code a backdoor into the code base of these utilities, and everybody that I am exposing to this utility is then compromised, and I am at fault. So as a comfort thing, as I said previously, I cannot guarantee we will utilize utilities, but if I gain ownership of the code base, we can have it dissected line by line, make sure it's secure, put it through an audit. And if it goes through audit and we see value in implementing it to our community, we can use it at that time. But again, there is no utility. So we are not disregarding the utilities. It's not that we don't care about the utilities. It's a security thing. That's why my audits have audits. We take our time with security. And if I just rushed into using somebody else's utility that somebody developed, that could go horribly wrong for my community, and I owe them more than that.
Thank you for your response.
And I know we've been on here forever, Lewis, but if I could just get in one more kind of statement before we take off, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Shib, man, I got the most respect for you and Dane. I really appreciate you guys coming. I just want to kind of put out there that the community is, I think they're feeling some type of way right now, man. I think that, the offer of the 30%, I don't think anyone can get past that. And it's very unfortunate that, I think it actually, hurt us more by you making this proposal than helping us, man. And I know there's probably no ill will intended by you, but I mean, it's kind of slap in the face when, we already have a proposal from another project offering to hire a development
Well,
team
wait,
and let
wait a
them
minute.
stand
Wait,
alone.
dreams. Let me step in there, okay? It's not a
Go ahead.
slap in the face. It's
Definitely
all
not.
based on the information that these gentlemen were provided, and they didn't get all the information. So you can't blame them for, the staking wallets not being revealed. That's something we've got to go back and square away with Cliff. So it wasn't intentional. It was the information they were given. When they approached me just before we went into the meeting, that's when I came across the fact that stuff had not been supplied. So it was not done out of any disrespect whatsoever.
And I know that. And I'm not saying it was at all. But I'm saying the sentiment I'm feeling in the community by looking in the chat and observing and kind of looking at the chart that just got smashed. I'm just kind of here to say to the community as well, guys, this isn't, the proposal doesn't even, we could have an internal vote or a DAO vote and the proposal might not even be on the DAO. So, I mean, guys, we will, don't freak out. Like we said, Lyris already came in and said there's no reason to panic sell. And I'm not saying, I don't think you had any ill intention at all, Shib. I'm not saying that. Like I say, I respect you guys, appreciate you. But I mean, it's just coming in with the 30% thing. I just don't think anyone can get past that. You know what I mean, man? But I know those numbers are skewed and they're not accurate yet, and we don't know what the real number is. But I just wanted to say to the community while we're all here, this is something we're voting on, and we don't need to take this as, hey, this is what it's going to be. I mean, it's nowhere near what it's going to be.
What
That's
other
all I want to
projects
say,
are there?
guys.
What other offers are there?
And also, like Drew was saying from the beginning, we're not trying to rush at all. We're not trying to rush anything for all our investors. We don't know exactly yet. I guess he said 30%, but remember, it even might go even higher. So I think we just have to be patient and wait and see the new numbers come in. I think we
No,
just have
and
to be
I can
open
tell you
about
right now,
that.
it's not might. It will go higher because you're all right.
What other offers are there? Like honestly, what other offers?
Well,
What
let's
other
not
offers are we talking about?
wait a minute. Let's not do that
We can talk
extra.
about that later, brother. We can talk about it later. We
Yeah,
got
let's
another
not
hour.
do that
We'll talk
now,
about it later.
please. We don't need to get into that debate. This is not the place for it. All I'm going to say is you have to consider there is a huge chunk of tokens sitting in the staking platform. Okay.
Right.
Those were not accounted for. That's going to change the percentages. Okay. Cliff had mentioned he was going to, the tokens that he was holding, he was going to surrender them to us. Okay. So everybody just needs to take a deep breath. Absolutely no decision has been made. And if you're out there panic selling right now or selling the chart for whatever reason, all you're doing is hurting the rest of your community by doing that. And if that's your goal, that's your goal. Okay, goodbye. As far as I'm concerned, I'm sticking it out for this community. Period.
Facts.
And I ask everybody, please be respectful to these gentlemen. They gave a proposal on the figures that they had. Okay. And you cannot blame them for figures that they did not receive. That's not their fault.
Yeah, guys, I just wanted to say I didn't just pick a number out of the sky and come in here to beat you guys up. I understand going into this, retaining 30% of value is not very appealing. I have to go off of the values that I have on hand, and assuming that I get the addresses, which I'm told I will, we can factor those into the calculations and the percentages will change. But again, I didn't come in here to try to disrespect anybody. If there's another project that's making a more appealing offer to hire devs and develop Shibnobi on its own, more power to them. If that's what the community decides to do, that's in their best interest. I just want everybody to succeed in this space and mitigate any potential losses that they could face. What we have at SquidGrow is sustainability. It's backed by me. If you look at what we have done in the short time that we have been around and the amount of money that we have spent, I am fully committed to it. It's not dependent on volume. We are just dedicated to the goal that we have and the growth of our community. So again, I didn't come in here to insult anybody. And if you have more appealing offers from other projects, obviously you'll talk amongst yourself and decide what's in the best interest of the community. But going off of the numbers that I was presented on what's hand, I can only do what the liquidity and the token allow me to do.
Question.
Yep.
So, I guess more of a statement. So again, a top 5 wallet of Bitcoin, top 5, top 10, top 100, whatever the case may be. That is you. You're offering us.
Yep.
You're offering us a top position on your baby, like basically tattooing us on your baby's forehead. Basically, you're offering that. Now, guys, we are one of the strongest DAOs here. If he were to mess up, what do you think that would do? We have to stick together on this more than anything, because he's tattooing our name on his baby. You think he's gonna mess that up? Come on, guys.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We've been at it for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Shibtoshi, we really appreciate you and your team coming in and, doing the proposal. We will get together. We'll get those other numbers for you, so you guys are able to, recrunch everything. And then I'll bring that information back to the community. So,
perfect. Yeah, as soon as I get those numbers and we run the analytics, I'll shoot you the findings, and it's and we can discuss it with the community at that point. And also in between that, I will talk to my devs about the NFT implementing into my staking contract for boosted rewards. So I should have some answers, at that time.
right. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording, and then Shib, I'm gonna send you a copy of this so you can print it over in your chat too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank everybody for your time and your hospitality. I'm sorry if any feathers were ruffled. Again, I didn't come in here to insult anybody. I'm just going off of the numbers that were presented to us. So thank you for your time.
Completely
Thank you for listening to us.
Thanks, Shib.
Yep.
Thank
Take it
you,
easy,
guys.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate everyone. Thank you so much from everybody.
Ginger, you guys are awesome.